In this video, we are going to see how light plays an important role in a drawing and how to shade basic shapes. My name is Raja Moganam. Welcome to my channel. What is shading? Shading is a kind of technique used to show the depth and the value of an object to bring three-dimensional effect of an image. Why it is important to understand the basics of shading? Shading creates an illusion to show your art more realistic. Shading brings up your art, showing its shape, form, and depth. Let's see the practical example to understand the light and shadow. Let's take an egg and keep it near the light source. Light travels in a straight line, creates roughly two areas. One is light area and one is shadow area. In light area, we can see the direct light from the light source and the highlight. And in the dark area, we can see mid-tone, core shadow, reflected light and the cast shadow. For beginners, we restrict only 6 variations in the light. Highlight is the small brightest spot on the subject. It's like a star you can see in all the light reflected surfaces. It will be too bright in the shiny surface and blur in the matte surface. Direct light area is the area where light directly hits. The mid-tone is the intermediate level between direct light and the core shadow. The core shadow is the darkest area on the object, created because the plane is moving away from the light, because it's changing its shape. The reflected light is the light which is being reflected from the surface. Means the white surface reflects more light, and if it is dark surface, it reflects very less light. If it is complete dark, you cannot see the reflected light at all. Direct light is the nearest to the light source and the cast shadow is the furthest from the light source. Highlight is the brightest area and the cast shadow is the darkest area in the drawing. These light elements and the brightness and the darkness will vary depends upon the distance between the object and the light source and also the shape of the object. Let us practice some shading by varying the darkness of the shade. I am using a normal 2B pencil. You can start practicing with a pencil like this. Do not keep the pencil too sharp during shading. It will make more impact on your paper. It makes traces. Make the tip little bit blunt and hold the pencil in an angle so that you will get a shading good. Try to vary the pressure you are applying and create more variation. Make it more darker, make it more light. The more the variation you show in your shading, the more the drawing looks realistic. Using the pen, you can create a variation or a depth in the drawing by cross-hatching techniques. We'll see more about this in the separate video. Start shading the basic shapes. We start with a sphere. First, apply a light shading throughout the sphere and then slowly, gradually increase the darkness in the core shadow area. Do not forget there is a reflected light. I am using a 6B pencil to shade the darkest area. It doesn't matter which pencil. Right now we can create a good variation in the normal 2B pencil whatever we have right now. Once you learned how to shade, how the light works, then you can go for a different pencils. Shadow variation is very smooth and gradual in case it is a curvic form like sphere, cone, and cylinder. The variation is abrupt in sharp edges like the square, cube, and pyramid. You see the sharp changes in the light from light to darkness. We are showing the form of an object by varying the shading thickness. During shading the cube, we can see the three sides of it. The lightest area closest to the light source, and the darkest area is away from it. The middle side is the midtone. Always be careful when we shade the cast shadow. It is in the side of the core shadow. Do not make the shadow in the direction where the light source is. This basic shading understanding we are going to apply in all our drawings in the future. Shading in the square or a pyramid varies abruptly. We can show the sharp edges by varying the light value. Try to observe the objects that we see in our day-to-day life. How light appears on the object, how light reflects, how the core and cast shadow appears on an object. Try to observe the highlight in every object that we see in our day-to-day life. If no light, no vision. No light, no drawing. No light, no life. Understand the light. Showing the light and the shadow in the drawing is most important. What are the key takeaways in this lesson? Understanding light and shading is very important to make an art realistic. There are 6 basic light variations: highlight, direct light, midtone, core shadow, and cast shadow. Highlight is the brightest and cast shadow is the darkest. Last but not least, practice. Do more practice. Thanks for watching my video. If you like, please like and subscribe.